you've got to bet on yourself.
Mhm.
Bet on yourself. You were born to win,
Mhm.
period. Everything that has happened, and it's the road that's taking you to exactly where you're supposed to be.
Mhm.
I sincerely believe that.
Mhm.
I look back at my own life and all the hardships and the heartache, the tears about not knowing who I wanted to be. And I remember asking God, I just want to be an expert at one thing. And now I'm a one trick pony.
Mhm.
I'm a one trick pony. All I know is design your life,
Mhm.
literally. And I know for a fact that it happens. I'm now an expert at
Mhm.
one thing. And
Mhm.
everybody has that.
All right, everybody. Today we have with us Jean Adero, and for those of you who know Jean, know that she is a gem, especially within the African American community, and also just among all of us women who are trying to step into reimagining ourselves and just rebuilding ourselves. And those of you who follow her, whether on Facebook, LinkedIn, or any of her other platforms, know that she pushes for our empowerment. I've been part of Jean's class. I've been part of, conversations with her and many, many other women who've gone through her program who have transformed. But today I am super excited to be with her because she's going to share with us everything she is doing. And hopefully her message can support you in, maybe you can even join her program to support you in, getting from where you are to your next step. Hi, Jean. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I know it is a Friday before a weekend, so you probably have other things, but I truly appreciate you meeting with me today. But before we continue, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yes, I call myself Africa's life coach. And part of the reason was giving myself permission to be whoever I wanted to be. And I heard that Muhammad Ali said that he was the greatest, and then the world started calling him the greatest. So I figured, heck, why not? I'll
Mm-hmm.
call myself Africa's life coach so everybody can call me Africa's life coach, and I'll be Africa's life coach. And it's kind of funny because now people say, oh, yeah, he is Africa's coach. I mean, they call it all kinds of things, but I'm glad it is working that way because my passion is working with women of African descent from all around the world. And typically, right now, it has been Africans, African Americans, and Caribbeans. And if you fall anywhere between that spectrum, I'd love to work with you. And the funny part is, I am Africa's life coach, but I really work with everybody.
Yes, and I know you always say Africa is a person. So maybe you can say that at some point. Africa
Yes,
is a person. So
Africa
we
is
can
a
talk
person.
about that. But before stepping into your purpose of work as Africa's life coach, Jean, I was going through your LinkedIn profile and
Yeah,
I saw you did project management before.
I
You're a
did.
leader, you're a director, you did learning and development. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Oh, yeah, I was an uncertified project manager. I did
Mhm.
things without certification.
That's good. And you know what? And that's actually the best way to do it sometimes as you're
Yeah.
growing. Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny. That was almost 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And project management, I felt like it was kind of new at the time. And the organization I worked for really embraced it and was open to having anyone who had program management skills to just join in and participate and just learn on the job. And so I did that. And then I decided to get certified and I started taking some prep courses. But I always used to fall asleep. So I realized it wasn't my thing and I let it
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of interesting when, if you've looked at my LinkedIn profile, every single one of my jobs has turned into a service that I offer today.
Mm-hmm.
I started off in, I think it was in advertising. Straight out of college, I went into one of the largest advertising agencies in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
and then went to another one a year later because that's what we used to do. I worked a little bit for the Olympic Games. I was
Mm-hmm.
brave enough to leave my new job and
Mm-hmm.
go and work for the Olympic Games for 3 weeks in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Atlanta and I did that. That was an amazing experience. And then after that, I just started moving into marketing communications. And then I went to learning and development. Then I wanted so badly to be in a nonprofit. And I mean, to several years after I joined marketing communications, I wanted so badly to be in a nonprofit and just do nonprofit work. And I did.
Mm-hmm.
That came at a price, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
So once I moved into that, I realized that I had been doing something that was related to organizational development for my entire career. And that is when I actually got a certification that I cared about. It was ProSci Change Management,
Uh-huh.
and I found my spot. It was just the perfect thing. It's almost like this is what I should have been doing my whole life,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I did it at the highest level in corporate, liked it a lot,
Uh-huh.
but I realized that most people want change, but they don't want to change.
Uh-huh.
And as you know, in project management, having sponsors of projects is crucial.
Yeah.
And it is at the highest level when things get done,
Uh-huh.
right? And so I quickly realized that many leaders were committed, but when it came to changing their organizations, it was very, very difficult.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, my heart was yearning for my own autonomy. And so the next best thing was to become a life coach and work on people who actually were calling me because they want to change, as
Uh-huh.
opposed to me trying to convince them that they need to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that story and the foundation of how, you used your change management experience and
Mhm.
now it's actually part of what you do every
Yeah.
single day
Yeah.
as a life coach
Yeah.
and things like that. So that's amazing that you do that because a lot of times, when people are trying to step into their purpose, and
Hmm.
that's what I've seen you've talked about, is you kind of have to find something sometimes that you feel you're drawn towards, and
Yeah.
sometimes that will probably help you, figure out what you enjoy doing the most. And if
Yes.
it's giving you maybe putting bread on the table, that's probably where you should focus on.
And it's kind of interesting because people look outside and your job, the jobs that you choose, really a lot of times have chosen you. And there is
Mhm.
a through line from what you're doing to where you want to go. And most people
Yeah,
don't realize it.
yeah.
My most exciting part of working with clients, I love the week when we're stacking our skills, because when you stack your skills, you realize that you can be a real estate agent, graphic designer, and business consultant, and there's a thing that you are actually meant to do that makes so much sense to you, but not to anyone else, and
Mhm,
it doesn't
mhm,
matter because it's your life.
mhm. Yeah, a lot of aha moments in those
Yeah,
situations because again, you're stacking up your skills as you mentioned, and you're like, holy cow! Actually, I know how to do this. I am passionate on how to do this. I
yeah,
have done it multiple times. I just didn't see it in this way, and that's
yeah,
where you come in as a life coach. That's
yeah,
amazing. I
yeah.
know you also always talk about rewriting your story.
Yes.
Could you tell everybody about what that means?
Yeah, actually, most people don't realize that every morning we wake up and write a story. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of our stories start with, oh crap, I'm late.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
a story. The moment you open your eyes, there's something that goes through your mind. You think about the result that you created yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's a story.
Mm-hmm.
And what typically happens with most people is the moment they wake up, they write the story and they keep writing it and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you look at your life at the end of the day, it is exactly what you intended, consciously or unconsciously,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, what I figured out really quickly is that if you write a story, an imaginary story about your future life, and you hold on to it and wake up every morning thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
what tends to happen as naturally as the story that you don't like is your life automatically starts improving if you listen to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it requires some kind of stillness and belief that it can happen for
Mm-hmm.
it to happen. Because when you write that story, what happens is, like, in the morning when you wake up and say, oh crap, I'm late, usually you end up responding to that statement and doing late things
Mm-hmm.
because you're always running after your day.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you said, I want to discover what my purpose is, and you wake up with that every morning. I'll wake up thinking about my purpose. You will start seeing purpose things all day long.
Mm-hmm.
It is just like buying a red car and noticing that everybody has a red.
Yeah, yeah. What do they
Then you
call it?
can
Something
look sleep.
syndrome. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The intentionality about it, I think what most people don't have is the skill. And I took it for granted for a long time. I have been a great writer since I was in primary school, and I assumed that everybody could write.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do as I coach people through their discovering who they want to be, I help them write the story as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And literally to the letter, I think I can say quickly, hundreds of people have come out with something that they wrote and they're like, I can't believe it. And I'm always like, write the date.
Mm-hmm.
What your brain does when it
Mm-hmm.
happens, it must tell you that it was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So if you write the date and you can look back at the story, you'll start to believe that everything I write becomes true.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it helps you work on your inner dialogue as well.
Yeah.
So over
Yeah.
time, you heal things that you didn't even think you were healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting because so when people are writing this story, and for anyone who's listening and probably wants to do this exercise, do they have to have any measurable item behind the date and the story that they're writing?
Yeah. So I don't do SMART goals because I
Mhm.
just think that they're too small.
Mhm.
SMART goals are good for corporate spaces. For your life, you need
Yeah. No, I
something.
hear you.
You
Mhm.
need something so crazy
Mhm.
that will wake you up and say, what if it happens?
Mhm.
Like, because I like SMART goals, except I don't like the realistic part.
Mhm.
Because realistic is a box.
Yeah.
Whereas, let me give you an example. I recently worked with a woman in 2024 who was unemployed. January 2024, she was unemployed.
Mhm.
So we started working on it, and then she kept trying to get a new job. And finally, in like 4 weeks, I'm like, look, this program is 12 weeks. I need you to do something so that while you're in my program, I can watch how you get afraid and I can coach you through that. I can watch you through getting stuck so you can do that, right? Finally, she decided I'm going to start a business. And she started this thing. In 2025,
Mhm.
she was making $50,000 a month.
Holy cow.
If I had asked her to be realistic, she might have said 5,000. But because we left it open and said, let's see how far we can go,
Yeah.
she allowed herself to go 50,000 far.
Wow.
I can guarantee if I call her now, because that was at the beginning of the year, she's probably at 100K. And it's amazing that the things that are for you literally start following you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
allow yourself to hear that inner dialogue and what it's saying, and you choose to write the story and heal it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. So do you think it's a mindset thing? Because you can tell someone something like that, and some people are skeptical. They're like, yeah, you know. What are your thoughts on that? If you want to tell somebody who comes to you, they're like, Gene, I really want to change. But then they start being skeptical and they start questioning. But then they have aha moments, like you just
Yeah.
mentioned. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts on that?
So the way I do it is I build you up through it. What we do is most people are afraid.
Yeah.
Most people are just simply afraid. They fail so many times. And I know a thing or two about it because I lived my life in fear for so many years. I started off as an adult in college, just so excited. I would manifest things. I didn't have enough money to go to college. I got a scholarship 4 years, and it was just amazing, right? And then I didn't have a vision for post university. And then I got scared. And in that fear moment, you can just look at the trajectory of my life and see that there's a period where you get afraid and you can see your successes are aligned with your faith, and your fears are also, everything that's not working is aligned with your fears,
Yeah.
right? So when I say, is it a mindset thing? I think it's more of a paradigm. It's a set of habits, that negative habits that become a part of your being. So is it a mindset? Yes. And it already becomes a part of your physical way of behavior.
Yeah.
So yes, I think mindset is big, but the habits are controlled by how you think. Yes, mindset. And you rewire your brain so that your thoughts create, some kind of feeling that causes you to act differently.
Yeah.
And then there are just some universal principles that you just have to learn. Just like there's the law of gravity, there's the law of cause and effect, the law of resonance, the law of rhythm. These are all laws that help you figure out what's working in life. For example, there's summer and spring and winter and fall. Life has seasons. You can't be harvesting every day. Some days are reserved for planting,
Yeah.
waiting for the
Yeah.
harvest.
Yeah.
And most people want to violate those laws, and it just doesn't work.
No, I hear you, especially when you talk about the habit part, because
Yeah.
the habit part is very, very crucial. I remember when I was in your class, one of the things you talked about was the 5 to 1 second rule. When
Yeah.
your alarm goes off, I do that every single day.
Still do it.
I still do it. I am an early riser. And if I don't wake up, it's probably because maybe I was just extremely tired. But I would
Yes.
say 90% of my days
Hmm.
is I do the countdown. I
Yeah.
do the countdown. I my alarm goes off. I have 5 alarms, but I always go with the first one
Yeah. It's
that
always like
goes off.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm out.
Yeah, and I'm up.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, then either I'm just going to turn it off, snooze, or sleep.
Yes.
But majority of the time, 90% of the time, I say I follow the 5, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule, and I'm up.
You're out.
If I don't do that, then I will not get up. So
Yeah,
it's
I
it's a
get it.
mindset thing, because I could tell myself I'll sleep more, da, da, da. And nothing wrong with sleeping. If you need the
Nothing's wrong
sleep,
with
go
it.
for it. But for me, I always feel like that's just for me. In the morning is my
Hmm.
only time that I can just be me. Nobody's bothering me about what's for dinner. Why am I getting it right?
Yeah,
I'm just me.
I totally
So
get it.
I'll always remember that from your class, and
Yeah.
I still do it today. And I always tell my kids do that too, because especially if you have something important going on.
And you know,
So
it's Mel Robbins.
mhm,
Mel Robbins gets the credit for that. A friend told me about it. Then I listened to Mel Robbins'
mhm,
podcast, and
mhm.
she was talking about it. And it totally makes sense. It's
Yeah, I
different
love Mel
things in life.
Robbins too.
Yeah.
I have her book here. I don't want to
Ah,
finish it
yes.
because I've been
Yeah.
reading.
So,
I've been reading it, and I am here right now. I'm traveling soon, and I want to gift it to my sister when I'm done. So
oh
I
no,
don't want to finish yet.
I know. Yeah, nice, very nice.
I don't want to
You
finish it
enjoy
yet
that.
because I just traveled this weekend and I read it in the plane, and I was like, I'm almost in the middle. I don't want to finish this book yet
That's a
because
good
it's
book when you don't want to finish it, right?
yeah, it is a good book. So I truly appreciate she most of the time resonates. I resonate with what she's saying.
Yes.
And so it's I wake up and I'm just like, some of the things that she says are actually push me sometimes. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's good. All right. So you've talked about storytelling and the mindset and
Hmm.
and telling your story, Jean.
Hmm.
So for someone who is coming into you for the first time, you
Hmm.
know, I'll give my example, my own story. I came to
Yeah.
you in tears.
Yeah. I remember. I think
uh,
about you quite often because I'm incredibly proud of how brave you've become.
I'm still growing. I'll say that. I'll tell you that. I'll be honest, and for
Yes,
anyone who's listening, just because it's a journey.
it
It's not
is.
something that just happens overnight and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, as you mentioned, sometimes my mind will waver around and stuff like that, but I have to ground myself and come
Yeah.
back and say, these are my goals. These are some of the things that I need to do. So, for someone who's coming to you for the first time, who
Hmm.
just wants that kind of clarity, because sometimes, even though as human beings, you're like, well, sometimes we're like, I can figure that out on myself. But sometimes you need somebody. You need someone who
Yeah.
has gone through it. You need someone who can talk you through it and actually push you and keep you accountable. What
Yeah.
would you tell that person?
So the one of the things I ask is how are you doing by yourself?
Mhm. That's no that it's and that's a good question, because sometimes we think we can figure it out on
Yeah.
our own, but you need somebody else to hear it from somebody else for you to have
Yeah.
an aha moment on your side.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things now that I have owned. I'm extremely gifted at supporting people through their stuff. I have language for it that a lot of times I even don't know where the language comes from. So now I have come to terms with it. I'm like, this is a gift.
Mhm,
I know my intuition tells me, and sometimes you can be asking me a question and I sincerely do not know the answer, and I literally have this process where I just literally almost like close my eyes while they're still open, and I listen for the answer, and then I
mhm,
tell you the answer, because some of the times I just don't even know. I have never
mhm,
experienced what it is.
mhm,
So
mhm,
number one, I rely on that gift.
mhm,
Number two, I study a lot. I like
mhm,
to read and find out what teachings help you learn in different ways.
mhm.
But once I know that, I like people to know the baseline. This is
Okay.
for me, this is not a job.
Yeah.
This is literally a calling.
Mm,
And then when you come in, one of the things I want to find out is, you can do this by yourself,
mhm.
right? Because you're going to tell me that you can do it by yourself, because
Yeah.
some people it's like time, budget, or whatever is holding them back, right?
Mhm.
My question is, how quickly do you want to get from A to B?
Yeah.
Period. Because I have done this with over 400 women, and there are certain trends. After
Mhm,
a while, you get to see the trends. For me, week one, I know that we're going to work from fear to faith.
mhm,
And by week four, you are so different. And I know that on week eight, the cohort will start reporting wins.
mhm,
It's almost become like there are trends. I realized one day it was like halfway through the program, people just start reporting huge wins. They're like, I can't believe this happened. So when we go from fear to faith, what happens is your mind changes. You're like, I want to win. And then the next part, I'm stacking your skills. So when I'm stacking your skills, we're actually talking about things that you're genius at. And people feel really good when they discover that they're good at many things, and now they have options and they can choose, or they can group them all up and make this one beautiful thing and turn it into what they've always wanted to do. And that's when people decide, I'm going to go for the job. I'm smarter than my boss. Like all the, they say stuff like that. But there's also, so there's the mindset part, but there's some programs, and I have been in them, where they rely so heavily on the mindset, but they don't get you to do the habits that cause you to shift. They rely more on motivation. Whereas for me, I'm saying we need persistence. We need you to make a decision. Because when you decide to succeed, you will succeed.
Yeah.
Right? And then the hardest thing that people have in the third part of it, most people don't have community. And I remember having that conversation with you. And you were just like, I need another community. Right? Because you had like, if I had to look back now, you had 2 out of 3. You really had faith. You just hadn't tested it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you had the habits because you were already doing it.
Yeah.
And then community is almost like, I'm not sure I have figured out what community is about. And most people don't have that mastermind. And for me, it's spiritual. When I talk about it, as the mastermind is like when two people get into a room. The reason why it's so electric is because your brain and their brains connect, and then you come up. The energy just makes something amazing.
Yeah.
And then if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, for Christians, we say where 2 or 3 are gathered, God is with us, right? It's the same principle. And when you create communities of harmony, they build you up. So think about it. You no longer have fear on, like, your life is not run by fear. It's more run by faith. Not saying that you don't get afraid. And then you're developing good habits, and you have a community, and you're writing your story, and someone's showing you how to write the story. You have to win.
No,
choice.
No, I hear you. And also I love that you say community, because then when you're with the same people who are doing the same thing, different in whatever journeys, you're motivated to push yourself. You're motivated to keep going, because you're like, they are doing it. How are they doing it? I can do it too. Right. And so that's actually a good thing that, as you mentioned, yes, I had the 2 out of 3, but I needed that space where, like, I have other people going through what I'm going through right now.
But then it's so amazing to see what you're doing, because I always click on your podcast and I'm like, look at them talking project management things that I don't care about. So, because it's not my lane. But the people you're talking to constantly are bringing such a different perspective, and you can't help but win.
No,
so
I hear
get
you.
out and meet the people. And I tell you, and I'm now all sold in LinkedIn. It's a place to meet your people.
No, you're right.
Your people are everywhere, right?
And in platforms like LinkedIn, people get afraid, especially if you're in a space like where me and you are, and you want to leverage a platform like that from a networking perspective. People get afraid because they're like, it's a platform. People are going to see me. My employer is going to see me. I say, so what?
Your good employer should want to see you.
So people get afraid. My employer's gonna see me. My coworkers are gonna see me. Oh, my coworker clicked on my profile. So just keep moving. It's your life.
You're literally talking about your profession. Talking about it. You're a leader to thousands of people. Why not?
No, one person is gonna get my like. So what? It's how far your message is gonna go, not who is gonna like your like. So your profile, your post, I mean. So it's important for people to take advantage of that kind of stuff, and you broke it down actually very well. So you talk a lot about journaling.
Yes.
Do you want to tell people why journaling is important? I'll be honest. I struggle with journaling, but I write my stuff down, even though, like, I write it down. I have a book, but it's not like
You're not
writing.
scripting.
No, I'm not scripting, but I
Yeah.
do write my stuff down. But
Yeah.
I know there are people who write journaling and they're very good at it, and stuff like that. And I've seen it be beneficial for some of your members of your community and for you as well. And also,
Yeah.
you have a journal that you'll probably,
I
give
do.
it to me. Give me the link. I'll put it in the show notes so that people go ahead and get it for yourself if you want one. But tell people about why journaling is important, or why you encourage journaling.
Yeah. So our dominating thoughts on any given day are focused on the busyness of life.
Mhm.
It is almost impossible to stay on task with our phones, your kids' phones.
Mhm.
It's like if it's not your work texting you, it's your child. And if
Mhm.
it's not your child, your husband is reminding you to do.
Mhm.
And then let's not even get started with social media, because
Mhm.
media can take over. You didn't intend to be on YouTube and suddenly you've watched a whole podcast. That's
Oh, no, I hear you. I didn't
yeah.
intend to be on TikTok, but that's where I am now. I'm not even no longer on Facebook that much.
So I mean, like it is a thing that
Mhm.
has infiltrated our lives.
Yeah.
So just the busyness of life causes you to lose focus.
Yeah.
The reason why I insist that we journal and find a way to write down your thoughts on a daily basis from a spiritual, mental, and physical perspective is because, again, remember when I said you get out of your bed thinking about the problem, what it helps you do is focus on the outcome that you actually want,
Mhm.
right? And then the way I do it, because I do have a journal on Amazon, and what I did is one day I was organizing my Trello board. Yes, I'm still using a Trello board.
No, I love that. It keeps,
Yeah,
I have Asana. It keeps us organized.
yeah, I know you do. And so I was organizing my Trello board and I was trying to really get specific with my habits.
Mhm.
And then I asked myself, what do I do? And I said, my spiritual life needs breakfast for my soul.
Mhm.
In other words, I need to feed myself a new thought from outside,
Mhm.
not my recycled thoughts, because our recycled thoughts are dangerous. You can hear something that's not true, but you take it as the truth and then start recycling it and wondering why your results are not working.
Mhm.
Right? So I ask people to find something that you can anchor your life on. If it's a Bible verse, if it is a poem, if it is, I don't care what it is, but it is some truth that you hold on to so that you can journal based on that truth.
Mhm.
Because once you deal with the truth, for me, the first thing about journaling is you write down that script and then you personalize it for you, right? With your name in it.
Mhm.
For example, our deepest fear is not that we are I forgot what it is, but it's like Jean's deepest fear is not that we are powerful. Jean's deepest fear is that Jean is powerful beyond measure. You see,
Mhm.
it totally changes it because it's like our deepest fear is not that we are powerful. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure, right? So you actually put it in your life
Mhm.
so that
Personalize
it
it.
is
Mhm.
yours.
Mhm.
And then once you've done that and you reflect on it, think about what's going on in your life on that day
Mhm.
and just write it out, but not from a position of venting. That's what people think journaling is about.
Mhm.
From a position of what you are going to overcome.
Mhm.
Not let me even make it better. What you have already overcome. In
Mhm.
other words, you're using the law of assumption to say
Mhm.
that I will overcome this. I won't even deal with what it is. I am writing it as perfect.
Mhm.
That is literally how I start. And then I have different prompts that get you through your spirit, your mind, your body, and you vision what it is that you're going to, what it is that you're expecting to happen.
Mhm.
And the last one is I ask you to be silent and hear what God is saying to you.
Mhm.
Because if you go through that process and you sit still for 30 seconds, you will hear some instruction.
Mhm.
Your brain is that receptive and it causes your whole body to receive it. And I always tell people your whole body is in your mind. That's why sometimes you can drive home and not even know how you got there. Your whole body is your mind,
Mhm.
right? And you will get some instruction for you to take immediately that will start changing that problem.
Yeah.
I
Do you
swear.
think it's part of intention, though, in being
It is.
intentional? Mhm.
It is intentionality. I love that word, but I think people are using it in a way that just is very vacuous. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean anything.
Mhm.
Um, Intention is literally, it's a spiritual thing. It's not just it's anchored towards something bigger than you,
Okay.
right? A lot of people say, I want to be intentional. I hear that word used so much. I'm intentional about this. I'm very intentional about my friends. I'm like, no, you're picky. You like excluding people. You're not intentional. That's not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Intentional is literally spiritual, and it's very positive. It literally is very warm, and it's on the side of winning.
Mm-hmm.
No one loses in your intention,
Yeah.
right? If you find yourself always thinking about all those people you're keeping out, you're not using the word correctly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're
No, I
just
hear you. I hear you. So, everybody, if you can, go over to Amazon. I'll put the link in the show notes.
yeah,
Please go ahead and get Jean's journaling book. It's
yeah,
on there. And then start journaling and follow
yeah.
the steps that she just shared today on the call. And before we finish, Jean, you
Yes,
also bring people to Africa.
I
Uh,
do.
Tell us a little bit about that so that if anyone wants to join you in your next
Yeah.
journey, they can come with.
Yeah, so we're actually working on dates for 2026, and one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that I do right now is I know that a lot of African American women are very disconnected from Africa simply
Mm-hmm.
because their ancestors were violently removed from the continent. And as I have been coaching African American women, I'm noticing that there is a complete disconnect because when your roots are that badly severed, it's you need something deeper. So what I
Mm-hmm.
decided to do, and I have taken a few friends with me to Kenya, and I host retreats in Kenya. And one of the things is to bring you back gently
Mm-hmm.
into something that was taken away from you,
Mm-hmm.
so that when you come back, you are coming back willingly,
Mm-hmm.
like the ride back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you are coming back willingly by
Mm-hmm.
choice
Mm-hmm.
and bringing yourself back into the United States so gently with all the lessons. What we make it is a cultural experience. So
Mm-hmm.
you get all the lessons of from African descent,
Mm-hmm.
people of African descent. And I like to say this: African Americans need to understand this because slavery was so violent. It was intended to remove you from wherever you came from and erase it.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of that is you get to choose any country
Mm-hmm.
as the place that you're from.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah.
go if your DNA says you're from West Africa and you fall in love with East Africa, pick East Africa. You get
Mm-hmm.
to choose because you don't really know.
Yeah.
You'll never really
You
know.
never know. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pick a place, and if you want, you can pick 54 places.
Yeah, no, you're right. I saw someone once they were actually going to Kenya, and once they got to Kenya, they took their finger and put it on the ground. Like, I have arrived, I have touched.
This is my home.
This is my home. And
Right.
they really like I got emotional because I
Me too.
got tears in my eyes just from that, just watching that. And sometimes you don't know how powerful that is for some
Yeah.
people who end up like taking that journey, because for them it is maybe a rebirth or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I actually got very emotional watching that person like touch the ground and just being
Yeah.
like, I am here like 2 feet, but my
Yes.
fingers are touching the ground.
Yeah, and here's one other thing that I like to say, because you and I are two African women talking, and we have the gift of self-esteem because
Yeah.
everybody we grew up with, our presidents were all Africans. Like everybody's an African, so you
Yeah.
get to see that. I know we still have the history of colonialism and all that. It is a real thing.
Mhm.
But we are also learning from African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And many Africans don't realize how badly colonialism damaged us. Because you
Yeah.
look at Africa and you're like, there's some parts that should not be this poor.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? It's
Mm-hmm.
that colonial mindset.
Mm-hmm.
No different from the mindset of those who tried to enslave us forever
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't work,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's a lot of exchange that happens. The last time I was in Kenya with African American sisters, Kenyan women were crying like babies when we
Mhm.
shared the story of what they experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, at the end of the event, they were like, we didn't know.
Yeah.
We just didn't know.
Yeah.
'Cause the story that was told to African Americans was also told to Africans.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when we meet, we are literally long lost sisters.
No, you're right. No, you're
Yeah.
right. So as we wrap up here, Jean, I
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
do you still have your accountability group that you meet? Right? I think, do you still have
Yes,
it or
I
no?
might do something different with it next year, though. They was
Okay.
really successful. and I was really strict about it. It was at low cost. I was testing it out. It was a low cost high touch accountability.
Yeah.
Right. So I was really strict with it. So the few who have made it to the end have done really well.
That's good.
And I'm trying to figure out what I'll do with it because it was outside of my program, Design Your Life. And I think it would make more sense if it was more connected to Design Your Life.
Okay.
So that it's not that heavy of a lift. There's some people who've never been in Design Your Life. They don't know the principles of Design Your Life. So it was a heavy lift for them, but the good thing is we got results. So I'll this is planning season, so I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with it.
Yeah. No, I love that. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have any upcoming events?
Events in Atlanta? Yes, actually in Atlanta we do meet. Just this past weekend we had dinner. It was African American girls who met on LinkedIn.
Oh.
Yes, I hosted a roundtable on LinkedIn in July after I found out that 300,000 women were let go from their jobs between March and July at the time. Now I'm sure it's over 500,000.
I know. Oh my goodness, yeah.
I don't even know what it is. But the ladies who came to the roundtable also came to the I Am Africa experience, which is an event that I host once a year. And now we are doing quarterly meetings in Atlanta.
I love it.
So on my LinkedIn, I will definitely give you some links. Then obviously I announced it on my LinkedIn as well. We had an amazing time this past Saturday. We had dinner, and then of course we share about our business ventures, and everybody exchanges details. Some people are now working with each other, so it's pretty amazing.
That's good.
And I hope that'll become a big thing, but it's the lead into I Am Africa next year in Atlanta.
Yeah. As a life coach, what are some of the final words you'd like to give the listeners today?
You've got to bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. You were born to win. Period. Everything that has happened, and it's the road that's taking you to exactly where you're supposed to be. I sincerely believe that. I look back at my own life and all the hardships and the heartache, the tears about not knowing who I wanted to be. And I remember asking God, I just want to be an expert at one thing. And now I'm a one-trick pony. I'm a one-trick pony. All I know is design your life, literally. And I know for a fact that it happens. I'm now an expert at one thing. One thing. And everybody has that.
No, yeah. So you were born to win. I love that as a final advice. So look around yourself. What are some of the skills that you can use to help you win? What are some of the things that maybe Jean can help you uncover with a conversation with her? So definitely reach out to her. I'll probably also take your link for if anyone wants to maybe book a call with you. They can put it in I'll put that in the show notes as well, so that people can reach out to you. And hopefully it's a 2026 for everyone to win, because we all have it within us to win. So
I believe it.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your time today. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks.